Pose, 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 pose. I do adore. Pose, 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 pose. I do adore. Well, guys, it's about that time again where we talk about the AP Women's College Basketball Poll. And this is going to be for week 4. Now, guys, we have seen some massive changes to the rankings, and that is because we have a new number 1. A new number 1 for the first time in basically forever. We see the South Carolina Gamecocks lose their first game and get dropped from the number 1 spot. Guys, we got a new number 1, and for the first time ever, it is UCLA. UCLA took down South Carolina over the weekend. I did cover that game, so if y'all want to watch a recap, y'all can do that. But it was a fantastic game by UCLA. Lauren Betts kind of showed that she is definitely right at the top of the best bigs in the nation. She was awesome. It was a sight to see the way that UCLA played like a team and really just they did their thing. They did their thing. Ultimately, getting to the top notch of the AP poll. And guys, this is the first time they've ever won over a top ranked team in the poll. So yeah, they were 0 of 20 against number 1 teams, and now they are 1 and 20. So yeah, pretty awesome for the UCLA Bruins. They are now 5-0 on the season. They do play on Friday in another one of the rando showdown games. So they are playing in Hawaii against UT Martin, a game that they should for sure win. But anybody can get got. So it's gonna be about time for UCLA to lose a game. So we gonna see. I actually don't disagree with the inclusion of UCLA as number 1. Now, I do think the South Carolina dropped quite a bit just from losing their first game, which is like a little surprising in my opinion. But when you take down the top dogs, you get the top dog spot, and that is what UCLA has gotten. Now, you can make an argument. that UConn actually should have been number 1, but they were number 2 for this week. They are 4-0 on the season. And they're just consistently doing their thing and winning games. They did just beat Oregon State last night in a game in the Bahamas. Again, a lot of Bahama games, a lot of games where teams are outside of their normal place of playing, and they're making some stuff happen. UConn ended up beating Oregon State 71-52. Again, this is not the same Oregon State as last year, so not the same competition that they were really expecting. But yeah. Next up, number 3. Let's talk about the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, y'all. Notre Dame put on a show this past weekend against USC. Hannah Hidalgo, Olivia Miles were both doing their thing. The tag 2 duo, it was making some stuff happen. Got the win. And so because of that, they were able to move up 3 spots to a place where they probably should have already been. I think this makes sense. I absolutely do think that Notre Dame is a top 4 team in the NCAA. And right now, they are listed at number 3. Next up, let's talk about the South Carolina Gamecocks and a little skid that they did. Because again, instead of being number 1, they are now number 4. Now again, this is a game that I thought was very, very important for them to have. Losses, you learn a lot more from losses than you do from wins. So the idea that this team was just supposed to just win, all they do is win no matter what. Got winning on their mind. They can never get enough. And every time they step up in a building, everybody's hands go up into a shot and they swish. uh, Oh my God. Sometimes I'm just like, why do I say the things I say? Anyway, South Carolina is 5-1 on the season from that loss yesterday to UCLA, or not yesterday. That was actually on Sunday to UCLA. Next up, they will play Iowa State in a game that I am so excited about. Now, this game is happening on Thanksgiving Day against Iowa State. In Florida for the Fort Myers tip-off. Now, guys, because it's the Fort Myers tip-off, it is on regular TV, which I'm so excited about. So you can watch that game on Fox. I will likely be doing a recap of that game. I will be watching the game while I'm eating, good food. But I will be on afterwards to sort of recap it because that game is going to be fire. Fire. I'm really, really excited about that. To see South Carolina face Iowa State. Now, guys, this is how you should be doing your non-conference games. You should be playing tough teams. You should be challenging yourself. You should be risking losing because you learn more with a loss than you do with a win. Next up, for number 5, we got the Texas Longhorns. Texas is continuing to do their thing. Now, they do move down one spot. Now, I don't think it's anything that they did to end up losing that 4th spot. I think it's just because we saw some fantastic games this past weekend from Notre Dame and UCLA. So they move up. Texas moves down 1. They just killing. I saw the DePaul game versus Texas in person, and it's like Texas is just, they Texas, man. They're really good. They are really, really good. They do play New Mexico State on Friday. All right, moving on to number 6, we got USC. They do drop 3 spots, and that's because they lost to Notre Dame. It makes sense. I think again, you learn more from a loss than you do from a win. There was a lot of suspect play from USC. They really have to figure out a way to get Kiki Ira-Affin active in the offense. There are times where Kiki is just buried in the post, and it's like, okay, watch Juju do whatever she wants to do, and we'll just watch that and try to crash the boards if you can. No. We need to see Kiki Ira-Affin get the ball in space, preferably in that sort of longer mid-range area. That is kind of like the spot when she grabs the ball, whether that's elbow, baseline, whatever that is, the mid wet, like the sort of the sort of I'm losing my train of thought. What am I trying to say? Kiki Ira-Affin has a really good mid-range shot. She does. And when she catches the ball around that elbow, around that baseline, that mid-range baseline area, it allows her to do several things. It allows her to either shoot. It allows her to look to dump it inside to another post player. It allows her to turn around, face, size up, maybe get down on a dribble, pass it out, or just take it to the bucket and score. Kiki Ira-Affin, the offense that Lindsey Gottlieb is running, I don't think it helps Kiki at all, and I think it's actually like hurting her numbers. I think it's hurting her. It's hurting her ability to be a high draft pick. Because she's just dropping. To me, coming into the season, she was the solid number 2 pick in the WNBA draft for 2025. I think that is just starting to skid, and it's because of the schemes, in my opinion. Like she's not in positions that she was at Stanford, and just in terms of the way the offense is running. And I think it's just showing holes. Now, yes, she is missing some shots that she should be making. Like, absolutely, she's missing some shots at the basket that she should be making. But also, like, I think that USC has to do a better job of getting her involved. in ways that she could actually be effective. Now, guys, what do y'all think about that? Let me know in the comments below. Next up, we got UCLA. We have LSU at number 7. Now LSU, they doing their thing. They just won a nail biter of a game, like a nail biter. Ended up beating Washington yesterday in a very close game. Shout out to Kaylin Gilbert, who saved the day for the team. But yeah, they're at number 7. Nothing to really write home about. Though they will play NC State coming Wednesday, and so that's going to be a game that y'all want to make sure to watch. Now that game is going to be on Flow Hoops, so yeah. But you'll be able to watch it on YouTube afterwards if you do not have access to Flow Hoops. All right, number 8, we got the Oklahoma Sooners. They continue to do their thing. They are continuing to do their thing. This is a team that just beat DePaul in Vegas on yesterday. And so, yeah, they're continuing to rock. The final score of that game was 85-62. I mean, Oklahoma got Reagan Beers. And so they rocking and rolling. They are rocking and rolling, and they are easily beating their competition. They just move up 1 spot to the number 8 spot. Next up, we got Kansas State. So K-State, number 9 in the rankings. Now, guys, these rankings were put out before K-State's game on Monday. In that game, we ended up seeing K-State go down to Duke. They end up losing to Duke 73-62. So they will get dropped come next week. But for this week, they are at number 9. But they're going down. They are going down. Next up, Maryland. The Maryland Terrapins are at number 10. I like Maryland. I think Maryland has a great young core that Brenda Freeze is building. I think they got some really good transfers. They're just a fun team. They're a fun team, and I'm looking forward to them starting Big Ten play. Because to me, that's gonna help to really tell the story of what this Maryland team really looks like for this season. All right, we got number 11, Ohio State. The Ohio State Buckeyes are continuing to do their thing. Rocking and rolling, winning games. They are 5-0 on the season. Again, really looking forward to Big Ten play for Ohio State. Next up, we got West Virginia. West Virginia is always fun. They are always fun to watch. They're winning games. So, we'll see. Again, we'll see a lot more when conference play starts. But West Virginia is off to a really good start. Next up, we got the Duke Blue Devils. Now, this is a school that will be moving up come next week because, as I said earlier, they just beat K-State yesterday in a fantastic game, might I add. They just rocking and rolling. Duke is rocking and rolling. Yes, they do have 1 loss on the season. However, they are a team that defensively, we all knew they were pretty solid defensively. This year, though, they have some offensive pieces, and they are making some noise in college basketball. For the number 14 spot, we got the Kentucky Wildcats. Kentucky's doing their thing. Again, new coach, new players, a whole new system, and they are rocking and rolling. Again, we haven't seen that tough of competition from Kentucky, though, guys. Not today, but tomorrow, we will see Kentucky take on Illinois. Now, to me, that's the matchup y'all want to see. So today they will play Arizona State, but tomorrow they will play Illinois. That is going to be a very fun game for you all to watch. So yeah, I actually don't know what channel or where that game is available at. So I'll try to figure it out and let y'all know in the comments below. But yeah, that is going to be a game for sure. Kentucky versus Illinois. That's going to be a game. All right, number 15, we got Iowa State. So Iowa State is 5-1 on the season. They did do a pretty sizable drop. They dropped 7 points, and the reason why they dropped 7 points is because they lost to Northern Iowa last week. Now, Northern Iowa, they are a team that you don't really think about. You don't really think about. I did do retrospective on Caitlin Clark's first game, and her first game was actually against Northern Iowa. Fun fact. And for Northern Iowa, they got a player. Her name is Maya McDermott, and she cooked Iowa State, and they end up losing big time to a unranked UNI team. So yeah. I'm just saying. Sometimes with Northern Iowa, them Panthers can make some noise against other Iowa teams. Like they nah, you ain't gonna consider us no scrubs. We can make some stuff happen. So Iowa State did do a massive 7 point drop to the number 15 spot. Again, they do play South Carolina come Thursday. That is going to be a game that y'all want to watch. Also, actually, it looks like the Kentucky versus Illinois game might be on Bowler TV, which I don't have. So hopefully somebody posts on YouTube afterwards because I really want to watch that game. All right, next up, number 16, we have North Carolina. So North Carolina, Tar Heels are 5-1 on the season. They did actually play. Actually, I'm sorry, they're not even 5-1 anymore. They're 6-1 because we did see North Carolina play yesterday, and they took down Indiana in embarrassing fashion. Like it was, oh my goodness, Indiana is just they're up and down, man. It's been a rough season for Indiana. They got killed by North Carolina yesterday. The final score of that game was 69-39. Like it was pretty bad. It's pretty bad. North Carolina are continuing to win games and do their thing. We'll see how long this sort of keeps up. Now we're just kind of going down the list. Also, guys, we will see North Carolina play. They do have an upcoming game on the 29th where they play NC Central, but the game that I really want to watch is on December the 5th when North Carolina plays Kentucky. That game will be on ESPN2. So that's going to be a fun game. That's going to be a very, very, very fun game for the Tar Heels. All right, guys, we are continuing on. We have the TCU Horned Frogs at number 17 on the list. TCU is rocking, man. They got that dynamic duo of Sedona Prince and Haley Van Lith. I think that's a fun combo to watch. And they are absolutely doing their thing. They are 6-0 on the season, but they do have a massive challenge coming up as they play Notre Dame on Friday. Okay? That game is going to be on Flow Hoop Sports. So, if you have it, subscribe. If you have the cash, subscribe and watch that game. If you don't have it, hopefully somebody posts the full game on YouTube afterwards. But yeah, TCU will play Notre Dame this week. That's going to be a fun game to watch. But for this week, TCU moved up two spots to the number 17 spot. All right, number 18, we got Ole Miss. Ole Miss is continuing to do their thing. They haven't played that many games this year, but they're rocking. Number 18 on the list. Now, they did play yesterday in a win where they played Boston College. They ended up beating them with the final score of 92-55. They will play UConn tomorrow. Now, guys, that's a game. That's a game that you want to make sure you are watching. Okay? Ole Miss versus UConn. Ole Miss can give you some fits. Defensively, Coach Yo got them set. Coach Yo got them set. The only question is offensively, can they compete with UConn? Now, they gave USC a run for their money in the first game of the season. What can they do against UConn? We will see. So I'm excited for that game as well. All right, let's continue on. We have number 19, Illinois. As I talked about, Illinois does have some upcoming games that I'm excited about. But they're number 19 in the country. They moved up 3 spots from last week. And hey, man, they winning games. Winning games. They got five home games that they won straight. They're on the road. They do play today in Tennessee, where they play Maryland Eastern Shore, which is a school I've never heard of, but that should be cool, I guess. But yeah, they play them, and then we will end up seeing them play Kentucky again on the 27th. And they will play Ohio State on December the 8th. Now, that's going to be a fun game. That's going to be fun. Like, Illinois is definitely a team that's on my radar. I think they're a fun team. Also, they're in Illinois, so it's like, yeah, I am happy that Illinois is actually becoming a real factor in women's basketball. Like, I remember back in the day, I used to be a big Illinois fan, like, for the men's team. But for women, I've never checked for Illinois until this year. I'm checking for Illinois. But anyway, Illinois, number 19. Number 20, we got NC State. NC State, they stand put from last week at that number 20 spot. We end up seeing them get a couple wins last week after losing to TCU when they made their initial drop. They did actually end up playing yesterday against Southern, where they beat Southern 77-47. We will see NC State take on LSU. That game is happening tomorrow. And NC State does play Ole Miss on December the 5th. So a couple of tough games for NC State ahead, and we will see ultimately how they end up faring. Now, next up, we have the Oregon Ducks. Yeah, Oregon is making some noise. They are making some noise. They moved up 2 spots from last week at the 21 spot. They're just rocking and rolling. They did end up losing, though. So that's something to note. They played Georgia Tech yesterday. They ended up losing to Georgia Tech. That final score of that game was 74-58. Now, they will be dropping come next week, but because the rankings were released before Monday's games, we see Oregon, back at that number 21 spot. A couple things to note is they do play South Dakota State today. Now, South Dakota State, yes, they are not ranked. However, South Dakota State is a good squad. Them Jackrabbits can do their thing. So, yes, they do play Oregon, but I wouldn't be surprised if South Dakota State ends up beating Oregon. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Next up, for the first time this year, the Iowa Hawkeyes are in the top 25. And why? Because they've just been winning games. Jan Jensen has never lost as a head coach for Iowa women's basketball. Let me know in the comments if y'all know that reference. Let me know if you know that reference of never lost. But anyway, Iowa's doing a thing. They're winning games, and when you win games, you get entered into the top 25. They've had some pretty good games against Drake, against Kansas, against Washington State. They do play Rhode Island, coming up later this week on Thursday. They play BYU as well, but the 2 games I want to see, they play Tennessee on December the 7th, and they play Iowa State on December the 11th. Now, those 2 games are the games y'all should be looking out for, because we're going to see what this Iowa team is all about. Right now, yeah, Lucy Olsen doing her thing. Hannah Stokey doing her thing. But how do they compete against their I would say probably in-state rival in Iowa State, and how do they compete against Tennessee? Like, those are the question marks I have for Iowa. We'll see ultimately how they end up faring. All right, number 23, we got another SEC team, and it is Alabama. Alabama is continuing to win games. Last week, they had a record of 6-0. This week, they are 7-0 because they just beat Alabama State yesterday, and they killed Alabama State. Final score of that game was 83-33. They do play Clemson today, so that's something to note. But yeah, they're still continuing to win games. The games I'm very much excited about is on December the 20th when they play Michigan State. I think that should be a pretty fun game. And then, of course, when they actually hit SEC play in January. Because conference play is going to tell a lot. Conference play is going to reveal a whole lot. All right. Let's continue on. We got two more teams to take a look at. And at number 24, we have Louisville. Louisville's continuing to rock and roll, continuing to win games. They are 4-2 on the season. Remember, they did lose to UCLA at the start of the season, and they recently lost to Kentucky. But this past week, they did beat South Florida, barely, but they did beat them. Final score of that game was 64-60. They do play Colorado coming up on the 30th, and they have a massive game against Oklahoma on December the 4th. And then they follow up that game with playing UConn on December the 7th. So yeah, Louisville got their work cut out for them, but Jeff Walz is smart to get those games scheduled because, yeah, you want to face some tough competition before you actually hit conference play. All right, at number 25, we have the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Nebraska are looking a little suspect. And the reason why is because they lost their best player. Natalie Potts is out for the rest of the year, which is a huge loss for Nebraska. For those who don't know, Natalie Potts has been really doing their thing. She is not the leading scorer for the team, but she's second in scoring. She's averaging 14.4 points a game, 7.4 rebounds a game. She really is a player who can knock down 3-point shots. She can get to her spots on the court and make some stuff happen. She is someone who just impacts a whole lot. And for her to be out is huge. It's a huge loss for the team. And because Natalie Potts is out, we end up seeing Nebraska get got. They end up losing to Creighton. Shout out to Creighton, the mid-major darlings. Creighton's fun. They ended up getting got to Creighton. The final score of that game was 80-74, which is why they end up moving down 4 spots. It's going to be tough sledding from here on out for Nebraska because, losing a player like Natalie Potts is huge. It's just injuries, man. Injuries suck. They absolutely suck. But, that's the name of the game. That is the name of the game. That's it, guys. That is your top 25 for week 4. Let's take a look at some of the other teams that receive votes. We got Michigan State, Baylor, Vanderbilt, Stanford, Indiana, Tennessee, Florida State, Miami, Richmond, Creighton, Harvard, and Minnesota. What do y'all think about the top 25? Let me know in the comments below. Who do y'all think from the others receiving votes will ultimately end up in the top 25? I think it's a matter of time before Michigan ends up in the top 25. I think, the phenom that is Silosaurus cannot be contained much longer from the top 25. Anyway, that's the video. What do y'all think in the comments below? Let me know your thoughts. And make sure to like And make sure to hit the subscribe button. I make content all about women's basketball. So if that is your thing, make sure to check it here. And we talk about women's basketball, and we have a lot of rando awkward moments as well. Like, who doesn't love an awkward moment? Anyway, talk to y'all soon. Have a great day. And happy Tuesday. We're almost at Thanksgiving. Almost at Thanksgiving, guys. Till next time. Bye-bye.